Hi, I'm Jess Weeth, the owner and principal designer here at Weeth Home, a small residential design firm in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, just a couple blocks from the beach. The signs were probably there since I was young. I loved color since I was little. I can remember my mom saying I used to get these little candles as young as 3 or 4 and put them like in color order. And I think there was like some writing on the wall that I would cut out little Pottery Barn and at the time Front Gate magazines and kind of create little room scenes when I was really, really young. But then, life kind of evolves and I was really into sports. So when it came time for me to select a college, which usually, leads to your training and a career, I was very focused on getting into, a great academic school that would be great for my tennis. So I ended up, going the liberal arts path and going to Duke and playing there and really kind of put that career vision behind what was right in front of me. From graduating there, I decided to kind of jump into business and fashion. We, bought a fixer-upper here in Lewis, which is the neighboring town to Rehoboth Beach, and really took to renovating that. I got to really start to get my hands dirty in terms of design planning and the decorating side of things, which, was just a passion of mine at the time. I loved it. I feel like blogging and Pinterest were kind of at their, peak time of growth. And I just couldn't get enough inspiration. So I started really doing our own house, which we ended up flipping, started blogging about that. And then friends of friends started to ask me to help with their projects, started with small styling and decorating. And my passion grew for it. So I decided to jump in and take some online courses, really got my foot in the door to our small community here that really was looking, I think, for a designer that maybe had a little bit of a different take on coastal, which is really how I've kind of made our niche here that has, fortunately for us, been more broadly appealing, not just in our town, but we've been able to expand beyond there as well. Alan has joined our business. So it was a huge step and another kind of like, wow, I can't believe how quickly we've grown moment for me. I guess this May would be 4 years that I moved away from retail and started working in our business full time. At the time, it was out of our house. A year later, took the leap to get the studio space, which at the time was just a studio. A year later, converted the downstairs to a shop so that we have an interior kind of decor and some furniture shop downstairs. And then upstairs is our studio. And then this year, it's a lot running a small business. So needed somebody who could logistically help take on all of the, there are so many things, all the financials, all the scheduling, all of the, proposals and invoicing and even client relations, is a huge, huge help for me. So we have a design team now there's 3 of us. Megan just walked in as well. So it's really nice to have a partner in crime that can allow me to really focus on the creative. So it's definitely something I'm so excited and proud about, that it's, truly a family business now. We do have a very diverse age range of clients that we work with. And I think, again, now that we've spread out regionally now, so we are taking on projects outside of just the Delaware beaches, where we were only doing Delaware Beach work up until earlier this year. We're now, DC, Eastern Shore, Philadelphia, Wilmington. But young families were how I got started. I think, again, with that word of mouth, friends of friends, like your network is, who you're around. And that definitely was my entry into design. Was a lot of the clients were young families, which I relate to with 3 young children really well. So just that idea of still wanting to come home and feeling like your space is, beautiful, but being really functional for you as well. Textiles they were my first love. And I think that's something that I hold just like very close in terms of, even the designs where we get to impact all of the bones and we get in on the very big planning stages of things. Like my mind can't help but go to what that finished layered home is going to look like and how the fabrics are going to be a part of that. That's just, I think it's kind of, again, coming from the fashion background and being in factories and mills, like I think that's kind of ingrained in me. So I definitely feel like I'm a tactile designer when it comes to my approach. And as soon as we get into the concepting phase of design, materials are just, for me, a big springboard. And if I'm ever feeling stuck, that's kind of what I go back to. Inspiration, travel is great, but, for where we are, and again, that's probably why I'm a bit of a hoarder in my sample collecting, because it is the way that we generate like new ideas here. And that's not just fabric. Obviously there's, beautiful stone samples and ceramics that inspire us. There's so many things, but I think when it comes to superpowers, I would hope that kind of creative use of textiles and unexpected layering of tonalities is something that comes through, whether we're doing a modern home or a very traditional home. Sports were big for me. So up until I was about, I would say 16, I was kind of on the path to trying to be a professional tennis player. So that was my entire upbringing, was traveling around the country and the world to play a sport. And I kind of had that crux of, okay, do I leave Delaware? I'd always grown up here. Do I leave Delaware, move to a tennis academy in Florida and, pursue this full time? I was, ranked really, top of the country at the time. And I just made the decision that I still liked school and I still, had that balance that I wanted to play sports, but not really make it my entire life. So yeah, instead I chose to go to college and I played tennis all through college. But yeah, I think people who knew me growing up here still call me Jessie Robinson, the tennis player. I am very sad that Federer retired. I know that's not a very unique one, but I had the chance to play in the Junior US Open and got to warm up with him back when I was, again, like 16, and he was just up and coming. So I feel like I'm a Fed fan at heart. I do not still play tennis. We were fortunate enough to win NCAAs my senior year. I threw away my shoes, my rackets, and it was a very, it's kind of a tumultuous sport. So I had my highs and lows and I felt good ending on a high, but probably like everyone these days, I have started to really love pickleball. So that's my re-entry into racket sports. I'm getting back into it just in a little bit more of a social way.